The Red Year by Melis Ravel. Dunbury Accounts of the Cataclysm in Morrowind. Volume 2. Saldus Lervu, Vivec City. I was a trader back then, ran a pack gar from Vivec City clear down to Narcissus. I was walking along the south road when the strangest thing happened. All of the noise around me stopped. The normal things one hears as they travel, like the sound of the wind blowing through the treetops. It was just deathly quiet. I felt a tingling sensation all over my body, and my guar began to stomp around. Whatever it was driving him crazy. As I tried to get him under control, there was a massive explosion from the center of the city. I saw the cantons fall apart before I was knocked off my feet. Then I remember the ground starting to rumble. It lasted for a long time, and it receded into the distance as if directed towards the center of Vardenfell. A few minutes later, the Red Mountain erupted, sending a huge cloud of fire into the sky. My pack guar had long since fled, and I decided I should do the same. I never stopped running until I reached Narcissus. I asked him if he knew what had happened to Vivec City. I didn't hear until much later that the Ministry of Truth had struck the heart of the city. What I do know for certain is that many Dunmer lost their lives that day, and that Vivec City is no more. Deros Dran, Mournhold. The Red Year didn't heavily affect Mournhold itself, but it touched many of the people who lived there. A lot of us had relatives somewhere on Vardenfell, and after the first day that the eruption occurred, we started receiving reports of widespread devastation in Vivec City, Sadrith Mora, Balmora, and Aldrun. I don't think a single night went by for months where we wouldn't hear someone openly weeping. It was a sad time for all of us. I asked if Mournhold had sustained any damage during the Red Year. I don't know why, but the destruction seemed to pass us by. A few Dunmer claimed that it was a tribunal watching over us, but others claimed that the tribunal was to blame for everything. I actually saw a few of those disagreements come to blows. It was a strange time. I got an interesting response from Deros regarding Mournhold's role during the Red Year. Relief efforts began almost a month after the mountain erupted. It was actually a directive that came from the House Redoran Council that was living in Mournhold at the time. I can't remember his name, but he took charge of the situation and sent soldiers, supplies, and able-bodied Dunmer to the outlying settlements that had been hit the hardest. I was sent to Balmora. The place was a mess. Hardly anything left in town was still standing. I spent maybe 2 months there, helping to rebuild the town and getting my fellow Dunmer back on their feet. I started out as a burden, but it ended up being the most rewarding thing I'd ever done in my life. I started some friendships there that still last to this day, including my beloved wife.